The new year is here. It's a time for reflecting on the past year and looking ahead to 2020. Hello again and Happy New Year, and welcome back to another episode of Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer Podcast. I am your host, Jason. With 2019 in our rearview mirror and 2020 staring us in the face, I like to take some time and reflect on this past year and look ahead to what 2020 may bring. Now, January has always been a time of new beginnings and having an excitement of what lies ahead in the new year. Making plans to see and try new things, return to things that have become a tradition, and leaving room for impromptu trips are all part of the things that I look forward to in this coming year. And I'm also always trying to find ways to connect with you and get you more involved in Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer. And if you add to that, trying to bring you wonderful images and perspectives throughout the state, my year gets pretty busy pretty quickly. You know, before I look ahead to 2020, I like to look back and kind of reflect on the things that I've been able to accomplish this past year. Now, I don't like to make resolutions. I mentioned that last year. I like to make goals and lists. And looking back at my list from last year, I think I did pretty well. I accomplished most of the things that I had on the list. I fell short in other areas. One of those things was growing the podcast. That was really important to me. More of you are listening now than you were a year ago. And for that, I want to thank you. You make a conscious decision to take time out of your day to listen to me. And that's something that I don't take lightly. That's why I'm striving all the time to bring you content that can be useful to you in ways of events or activities or anything like that. So that's something that I really don't take lightly, and I started bringing on guest interviews, and that has been a lot of fun for me. Having conversations with people throughout the state has reassured how great our state really is. Another thing that I was able to accomplish this last year that I wanted to do was start a Facebook group, and I did that about midway through the year, and it's been a slow growing process. But so far, the interaction has been fun, and I'm hoping to continue that this year. So that was one of the things that I really wanted to do. And earlier last year, and you're probably sick of me talking about it, but I was able to take the family snowshoeing for the first time, and honestly fell in love with that. So much so that I got a pair of snowshoes here for Christmas, so I'm really excited about that. I was able to go to Iola Car Show this year and was amazed by the number of cars and vendors that showed up to this event. We visited a few state parks, not as many as I wanted to, but, you know, as my kids get older, they start getting into more sports and more activities and things like 4-H, so it makes weekend time a little bit more precious in a way to get out to these places. So we didn't get as to many state parks as we did, as many new ones as we wanted to, but we did get to a few, and we did return to a few that we really like. So, you know, looking back at 2019, it was a good year. There was a few things that I didn't get done. I wanted to go to a few more festivals that I didn't get to. You know, the ice caves never happened last year. That was something that I really wanted to try to get to as well. With what we accomplished last year, I'm hoping to build on that this year. And looking ahead to 2020, I wanted to do what I did last year and share some of my goals here for the new year, because putting my goals out there makes me accountable, and it'll kind of push me in a way to help grow Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer. Today, the first episode of the year for me is going to be about my goals and where I would like to see Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer go and what things that you can do to help get there. Now, the first thing on my list is this podcast, to keep this podcast going and growing. When I started this podcast, I started it with a 3-year goal. I said I wanted to do the podcast for 3 years and see where it goes and see what I can accomplish. So I'm entering the 2nd year of the podcast, and I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. Things are growing. I found it's a great way to communicate with you, and it's a great way to bring my thoughts and ideas of getting outdoors in Wisconsin to you. And I'm going to continue that in this new year. I want to review more state parks. I want to review more events. I want to share my experiences with you and give you ideas of things you can do in our state. But most of all, I want to talk to more people this year. I want to try to have more guests on this year and have them tell you how great this state really is. I think having people on really adds a lot to the podcast, and I think it adds a lot to you. So that's my goal this year, is to have more interviews and more people on that can really tell you how great Wisconsin is without me telling you every week. And I think the more people I can have on, the better the podcast is and the more you're going to enjoy it. So I found there's a lot of interesting people in our state. They all have a great story to tell, and I want to tell them to you. The next thing I want to really accomplish this year is to continue to grow the Facebook group. I started the Facebook group about midway through this past year, and I will be the first to admit that while it's growing slowly, it's probably because I haven't paid much attention to it to help its growth. Facebook groups are really important about interaction and interacting with everybody and getting conversations rolling. And I really want this to be a community group. I really want a lot of interaction, and to do that, we need members who are willing to participate, willing to share their ideas, their pictures, their thoughts. And I want it to be a community that grows and shares experiences with each other. I'll be the first to admit that I can't see and do everything in this state. So having a community like this is important to be able to share certain locations or ideas, or if somebody wants to go snowmobiling in this area, there's somebody here that can help them with things about that. And I think the group can be a really good resource for us all once we get the ball rolling a little bit more. And that starts with me getting those conversations starting and getting people involved. But it also starts with you too. You got to be a member of the group, and it doesn't cost you anything. You just sign up and you become a member. But it also requires your interaction with me. You have to interact with me, and you have to interact with others in order to make this work. So my goal is to spend more time in the group this year, help it grow, and continue to encourage you to be a part of the group and to be a part of this journey. So if you haven't checked it out, check out the Facebook group. Let's get that growing together. Let's really grow that this year so that we can get the conversation going, and we can talk about anything. We can talk about the podcast. We can talk about events, activities, whatever you want to talk about. If it's outdoors in Wisconsin, let's talk about it. So go and check that out, and let's keep growing that Facebook group. This one is always on my list and will probably always be on my list, and that's visit new state parks. We all have our favorite state parks, and I have mine, and fortunately I live pretty close to one of mine, Red Mountain State Park. In my opinion, to truly experience the state to the fullest, I feel it's important to visit different parts of the state, and our state park system is a great way to do this. And that's why this year I'm hoping to visit, I'm putting it out here, but I'm hoping to visit at least 5 new state parks this year that I haven't been in. And I want to share those experiences in those state parks with you. I want that to be a part of what I do, to go review a state park and share that with you. So my goal this year is to visit at least 5 new state parks and share my experiences of those parks with you. This next one makes a return from my list from last year, and I failed at it. I live in the video world. It's what I do. It's how I make my living. It's something that I do every day. I'm always doing something in video. And it's something that I enjoy doing, and it's time for me to start bringing more videos to you. Whether it's short videos showing the beauty of Wisconsin or a review video, I want to take more time and show you how great this state is, and one of the best ways to do that is with the power of video. And honestly, I've got the tools I need to do it. It's just time for me to do it. Time for me to start putting more effort into doing it. And part of that is just taking the time to put things together and putting them out there. So don't be surprised if you start seeing more of me this coming year in video form, whether that's the YouTube channel, on Facebook or Instagram. But start looking for that. That's one of my main goals this year, is to really start pushing some videos out to you. And I hope that I am able to get the time to do that, because I really enjoy video work and I really enjoy sharing my video work with you. So look for that in this coming year. I love this state, and part of that love is seeing and doing new things. And that is one thing we will continue to do in 2020. We're going to do that a lot of times as a family. It's important for me to have my children experience new things that this state has to offer, whether it's getting to new festivals that we haven't been to, trying a new activity, and seeing some of the wonders of Wisconsin is always on my list of things to do. And I can't wait to see what my family and I come up with this year. It's kind of part of that first part where I said leaving a little bit of time open so that you can explore and do new things. That's kind of where this comes in. Things pop up, ideas pop up. You see advertisements for something. Those are the things that I want to be a little more spontaneous with and just go try them and not have a care in the world about doing it. I want you to know that whatever we do, you can count on me to share that experience with you. It may even mean you're going to see a little bit more of my family this year or hear more of them on the podcast. I think they bring a unique perspective to some of the things that we do as a family, and I think that can be an important asset to you to hear it from their point of view and not always from mine. So we're going to try some new things this year. I know my kids are starting to get to the age where they want to start doing some certain things, and we're definitely going to start pushing some of that stuff as a family. And there's going to be some things that I'm going to do as well that I want to check out and try. And again, I'm going to do the best I can and share that with you and really be more active and social about that. You know, the start of a new year always brings a promise of hope and excitement. And 2020 has me really excited about the growth of Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer. But this growth only happens if you get involved. Share this podcast with family and friends. Be part of the Facebook group and share your own experiences there. Doing that is all part of it. I don't want it to be just about me because this state is so much bigger than one person. I really want us all to be involved in this as much as we can. I really want us to grow this together. It all starts with you. It all starts with you getting involved. I'm ready for this new year to start. I'm ready for us to get going on this and really making this happen. And I hope you're ready to be one of Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorers. Thanks again for joining me. I'm your host, Jason, and I'll talk to you again next week. Thanks for listening to the Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer podcast. For more great information about being an outdoor explorer, visit our website at wisconsinsoutdoorexplorer.com. Be sure to check out the blog page and follow us on social media. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.